Hey, Tom here. Good evening. Had a pretty amazing evening tonight, and to actually share about it, I have to start with the story of Luciano. So I'm new to Temecula, and I'm looking for an Italian deli where you have the guys behind the counter, and they slice you the meats that you want. And as I was there buying my gelato, I started talking to the gentleman who was setting up the display next to me, and his name was Luciano. And the reason I talk about Luciano is because it was a start of a conversation tonight that wouldn't have happened if I had not been sensitive to the spirit and just to where the conversation can flow sometimes. And and so the point tonight is you have to be really focused on where the Lord leads you sometimes, and even if it's just in daily conversation and you think it's innocuous and you don't think anything of it. So Luciano, I met him today. And then tonight, as we're having dinner, we're talking about who I met to my mother-in-law, my wife, and my niece. And and she's like, "Who's Luciano?" I said, "Oh, like Luciano Pavarotti." No clue. She's 14, of course, and she doesn't know. So I pull up the video of Luciano Pavarotti singing Ave Maria. And as we're listening to it, towards the end of it, just I asked her, "Do you know what the Ave Maria is?" And she shook her head. And then my mother-in-law, of course, being Catholic, I gave her and I let her explain what the Ave Maria is about, and she started talking. And then the next part of the conversation was, well, do you have a rosary? And I'm a basic Bible believing Christian from the Protestant side, but I believe that when the Spirit moves, it really doesn't matter whether you're Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant. I believe that as long as you're really obedient to the Spirit and there's promptings and being sharp enough and aware enough and be able to respond to the promptings, then Luciano from the deli can actually turn into a conversation about Ave Maria. And then what's even more amazing is, and my mother-in-law was talking in Korean this whole time, as she starts explaining about the purpose of the Bible and what the Bible's all about, as my niece is just there listening. And I was just thinking to myself, just that just that one chance encounter led to an explanation and inquiry about what the Ave Maria is about, which is Hail Mary, and then leads to a conversation about the Rosary, and then leads to a conversation about the Bible. And it's amazing how if you just always have the sensitivity and awareness of the Holy Spirit moving, not just in yourself, but he can be tag teaming with somebody who speaks a different language from you completely, but moving in unison and in concert. And as I was sitting there listening to her, I was praying for my niece and just allowing the Spirit to, asking the Spirit to penetrate the 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 blindness spiritually, or the ignorance of just where she is at spiritually. And I just lift her up to God, that tonight we made a small step in opening her heart and her mind to who the God of the Bible and who Jesus is in her life. So I think my lesson learned is, when there's an opportunity that comes up, you can put all these different disparate pieces together. This stranger you meet at the deli, to this video on YouTube, to the purpose of the song, to actually finally talking about the Bible. And it doesn't always have to be you. And I just thank God that I was sensitive enough, sensitive enough to allow the flow of the conversation to go where it needed to go by the Spirit's leading. So it was, for me, a pretty awesome experience tonight, which made it a great day. So yeah, be sensitive and be all things to all people. And if you can be that link that helps move a person one step closer, and it doesn't even have to be you speaking. If you allow the Spirit to move in you and to move in those around you who also are one and the same thing. And my mother-in-law is a very godly woman. She prays. In fact, she's praying right now next door. She prays daily on the clock. I mean, on the dot at set times, much more than I could be dedicated to. So as long as you're aware that the Holy Spirit's orchestrating the whole thing, then glory be to God, and just be excited that you're able to be part of the effort. So, alrighty, have a good night.